Lassa. Moving right along, but sticking to horticulture, our next speaker is the CEO of Firma Farms, which is on a mission to become Oregon's first carbon-neutral cannabis farm. I'm sure you recognize them from the last several years in the industry, previously medical, before they were rec. But today, Firma operates on 100% wind-powered renewable energy, which is, let's give them a little round of applause for that. Jesse Perters has spent more than 26 years in the cannabis space. Please give him a warm welcome.
Sustainable. So let's talk about this. So I express this backstage. I'll express it to all of you. Any of you who have seen me speak before or know me, I tend to make this up as I go along. Today is a little unique. I've been up most of the night running calls with the fire department. We had a fire at 4 a.m., so I'm on very little sleep and very little food. And I found out this morning that the speech was 15 minutes instead of 5. So I'm going to adjust rapidly. And I only say this because it plays very far into sustainable. So take a minute and actually read that definition, please, because I did it like 3 days ago. So let's think about this. Let's talk about environmentally sustainable, which in all actuality should be at the forefront of all of our minds. At any point in time, you should be thinking about how we sustain as a species, right? And I know I'm getting a little deep here in a cannabis conversation, but why is it any different? We spend a lot of time here burning light on cannabis, burning employees on cannabis. You have garbage service? What do you think that garbage truck runs on? How do you get your nutrients to the shop? What nutrients do you use? Do you have a bioswale? When you go home at night, do you turn your lights on? Do you turn your heat on? Where do you live? Are you in Southern Oregon? Are you here in Portland? You could really chase this rabbit hole quite extensively. And once again, the reason I go into that is because it all has to do with being sustainable as a company and as a human. And so if we do not find a way to merge those two together, then all of this falls apart. I mean, let's be serious. As a species, we're all just polishing the brass in the Titanic, right? I mean, in the fire department we have a saying, every fire goes out eventually. I mean, you can say that about the sun. So, coming back to where we are here today and what we're talking about, your company is your fire. Every fire goes out eventually. Do you know how much it costs for a gram on your shelf? Or a gram of production, or a gram to be produced into the test results that we all require? If you don't have that number, you are not being sustainable. When we say sustainable, we think of the ability to be sustainable ecologically. Okay, that's great. If you take anything away from my speech today, well, actually, let's look around. We'll make this a discussion. Who here is a cultivator? Put your hand in the air. Look around. Who here is a business owner? Put your hand in the air. Awesome. So we have more business owners than cultivators. And I'm not gonna put anyone in a spot here, but look to yourself and ask, I can tell you this, if you have PGE, Portland General Electric has a spot on their bill that says, would you like to know more about renewable energy? And you can call that phone number, and they will give you renewable energy. They'll give you renewable energy for your business. They will give it for your house. They will give it for your neighbor, for your doghouse, for your friend, for the dispensary down the street. If we have that resource, if you're on PGE, why are you not using it? So if you said that you're a sustainable company, then you got to ask yourself that. I mean, I had to ask myself, to be honest with you, I missed that phone number for years. We've been doing it for 3 years. I've been growing for longer than 3 years. How did I not know that was there? I missed it. So if you take anything away, call that phone number. If you do not have PGE, call the ETO, the Energy Trust of Oregon. They are our friends. They are here to support us. They've done so much for us. They help us in understanding what we spend in electricity. They help us in understanding what we can do to get credits back. The ETO has written me over $100,000 in checks, and I've got another one coming soon for equipment that we've bought that make it cheaper than buying HID Lite, that are cheaper to run. Why did I not know this earlier? Well, because, like many of us, I've been afraid of persecution. I've been afraid of being exposed. How do I really become sustainable? Sustainable means that I have to continue to pay my people. Sustainable means that I have to continue to know that when I'm not here, people continue to live here. How do I look at myself in the mirror and know that I am a contributor and not a participator? Have I contributed to the planet for sustainability? Or have I just participated and said I was playing the game? You all know them. You all know that there are companies around you that are not getting the credit that they're due. They probably do incredible things, and nobody sees them. And they do them anyways, because it's what's right. Conversely, we've all seen the companies that preach sustainability, but you know. You know they're not on wind power. That's easy. It's a phone number. It's cheap, it's easy, make the phone call. You know what kind of light they're burning, you know what their recycle program is. And then you have everybody in the middle. And to be honest, we're in the middle. Firma is in the middle. I made a phone call and figured out how to get my power clean. And that's great, that's a huge portion. So what was the next step? And this is, I kind of feel like with everybody when we have these little intimate talks, I kind of feel like I need to express what we do in hopes that it will maybe make us all better, including me. So, what's next? We could buy carbon neutral credits. I could come up here and raise my hand and say we're a carbon neutral company. I can buy carbon neutral credits. Hell, I could do it through my Mount Hood Meadows snowboarding pass. I could just spend like $1,000 on credits and be like, oh, there we go. Put it under my company name. How do we actually do it, though? So the next step for us, at least, was let's get rid of our garbage. Do you know how fucking hard it is to get rid of your garbage? Like, seriously, let's think of this. Like, we got a dumpster, right? And now we have, for those who don't know, we have a 23,000 square foot building. We've not built it out entirely. We work really lean. We work really hard. Everybody pays attention. We have a dumpster that's like 10 cubic yards. It's literally like this long and like this tall and like this wide. And we fill it like, it takes like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to even come close to filling it. That's a lot of hard work. Like, Clint is here somewhere. Clint will tell you, it's a lot of hard work. And then you walk in the morning and there's a water bottle. Or a Starbucks coffee cup. Fuck. So, my point to this is, don't choose to ignore this or pawn it off as just a word because you don't want to look like a liar or because it's so much to tackle. You can start really small. Put blue recycling bins in your facility. You can start small. The other part is, don't be embarrassed that you've made a statement that you're not. Because, and this is really easy, how many people in this room actually, like, on a personal level, know me? The rest of you don't. That's a small number. So what do you see? What do you read? What do you hear? What do you think you're following when it comes to our company and the people that we work with and how we do things? Because almost the same amount of people who raise their hand also get a paycheck from this company. And we try every day to make sure that we have integrity behind what we do. Integrity behind those people not just spouting out something that we think the public wants to hear. Because in all reality, if you're in the cannabis space right now, nobody cares what you're saying. A $400 pound is a $400 pound. Those are not sustainable companies. And that's fine. That's fine. They got into this space, they realized it wasn't the gold mine that they thought it was going to be, and now they're trying to recoup a little of their investment, and we're all paying the price for it. And that's not going to end today. That's going to happen again next winter, when we see the next fall harvest come down. If anybody has the newfangled Facebook, you might get to see a whole bunch of people on there who are really excited about the license they just got. And what are you going to say? It's a bloodbath out here, run away. Right? No, man, that's sweet. You could look at like 40 comments that are how great it is. How many of those 40 comments you really think it's great? Sustainability. So we're talking about two things here. We're talking about sustainability environmentally and sustainability as a company. And as our society has set up, what we found is there is a system in place that drives a giant wedge between the two. How do you sustain as a company economically versus how you sustain environmentally? I mean, I can go pick up a $25 magnetic light, throw it in my facility, get a plant growing. I mean, the ETO, and I got to pay extra for my power, and let's just get it going. But now I'm spending more to grow it. Grow with HID lights, and for those who do grow will know this. For those who don't grow, I'll give a little synopsis. HID lights are like old big school light bulbs, right? And then right now, our best advancement is LED light. And everybody knows, right? LED, HID, less electricity, more electricity. What you don't realize, those HID lights have mercury in them. Well, that's not super sustainable. On top of that, you have to change them. So depending on what you want to do, anywhere between 6 months and 2 years worth of that lifespan of that bulb, you have to change it. Within that time frame, it costs more electricity to burn that bulb to get the same amount of product out of your plant. You don't have ohms meters on your lights because they don't come with them for a very specific reason. So you're going to just keep burning those bulbs. So let's think about how many bulbs you got to change at scale. 500? So you got a human being climbing around changing 500 bulbs? Are they going to drop one? Do you know what it requires with OSHA when you have a mercury spill? So, okay, we're not going to worry about that. Mercury spill, just, sweep it up. It'll be cool. Put in a little vial, play with it. Give it to the kids. Whatever. Nobody's really looking. I mean, it's on camera, but it's only a 90-day backup. So let me cross my fingers. Is that sustainable? So, for me, we need to stand behind our convictions. I mean, shit, we put it in our name. Firma Farms. Ecologically stable. Ecologically sound. Firma. Ooh, shit. I'd better figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Right? And that's for real. Like, seriously. As I said earlier, and those who know, like, I spent 23 years in the Marines, 10 years in the fire department. I'm a grunt who sprays water at fire and carries a gun around. So, for a lot of this, I've made it up as I've gone along. And I say that because I'm trying to persuade people to understand you can start whenever you want. But you need to take a really solid look at what your conviction is, and you need to stand behind it. We have an opportunity in this industry to change everything. You're not standing up against giant corporations yet. Get the money where you can. Do you have a public play? Do you have a private billionaire? Do you have an uncle with a bunch of money? Get it wherever you can get it. Spend it responsibly. Make sure that you prop up the companies that need to be propped up. Bring in the partners that play well. Advance the technology you have to do better. Alcohol is a $400 billion a year industry. And at this point in time, it's owned by pretty much one company out of Japan. $400 billion. What do you think they pay their lowest employee? Who thinks they pay them a living wage? Yeah, me too. So, why? Why do we do that? Because we're staring at the bottom line all the time? Because corporate America has taught us to do that? Is that sustainable? Could we sustain that way as we move forward as a company? Do we get the chance to change that? You bet your ass we do. This is easily a $400 billion industry in this country alone. Cannabis is far better for you than alcohol. We all know it. And for those of you that use cannabis, it's substantially more fun and makes tomorrow a lot better. So I got you. And that's the reason why those lobbyists for the alcohol industry want to make sure that we don't get a chance to expand as rapidly as we want to expand. It's why Jeff Sessions is trying to pull the money out from under us, because those lobbyists are pulling at him. However, those tactics that try to keep us down are not sustainable. So whether you like it or not, you have a chance. We have a chance to be more sustainable. So my question to you is, are you willing to stand behind your convictions? And if you are, show me, because I'm right here fucking waiting.